And our glory to Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach, Omalak Abishai. Double honor to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Hamashiach Omalak Abishai. A hearty, mighty shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there in the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their body as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying. They're fasting. They're studying. They're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Akwat out there, the sisters out there, married and unmarried, hold it down in the households. Shalom to all of the ancient men and children. Shalom to the elected Israel scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth, and everybody else tuning in live. HBK Int, Vernon Brody, Nigel Blends, Don Israel, Brother Azariah, Shalom King, T Sellers, Black Toya, Divine in Nature, LOC, Divinely Fashioned, Yasha Allah 12, Yakad, Don Israel, Yolanda Caesar, Yefe Israel, Emek, Slakia, Benjamin Youngwolf, Princess to a King, K Paradise, Brother Believe, Debonair Shalom King, Malcolm Kufi, right? And everybody else tuning in and that will tune in through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Mashiach Omalak Yahushai, cleansing the temple before the dedication. Cleansing the temple before the dedication is the topic of the Monday Night Fire. The Feast of Dedication draws nigh. The Feast of Dedication draws nigh, and it begins December 6th at sundown. Right? December 6th at sundown is the first day of the Feast of Dedication. And we're going to keep saying that, and we'll say it all throughout the live, Lord willing, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Mashiach Yahushai. The Feast of Dedication is December 6th at sundown. Everybody should be in the spirit of Maccabees, reading first Maccabees, or reading second Maccabees, or getting in the spirit. Maybe you finishing, you was reading John, or you was reading Proverbs, or Sirach, or Kings, or now you're going to get into the time of Maccabees. It's fitting. First Maccabees, second Maccabees, you're getting into the history. You're learning about Mattathias, Judas, Jonathan, Simon, all of these mighty men, how they slew Georgius, how they slew Nicanor, Apollonius, and all of these heathen that stood against Yahweh Bashmel and his men. And it's fitting that we go into the spirit of cleansing the temple before the dedication, right? Because before our forefathers, and you'll read, if you haven't read Maccabees before, first Maccabees, you'll read it, right? Second Maccabees, you'll read it. But before we dedicated the temple, even in the time of Solomon, right? Before we dedicated the temple, even the tabernacle, right? Shalakia. Before we did that, we always cleansed it. So you have to cleanse the temple before you dedicate it. Let's go to the classic. Let's go to 1 Corinthians, right? The 6th chapter, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua. Now, our forefathers did it with actual temples, right? We ourselves are the temple of the Most High on a spiritual level. We ourselves are the temple of the Most High. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, and I'll read verse 18. Flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body, but he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body. What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, which is in you, which ye have of the Most High, and ye are not your own. See that? So what? Know ye not, meaning what? You don't know that your body is the temple? Now he's really speaking about the church. The church of Corinth is the body, but the entire nation is the body. And on another level, you yourself, your vessel, you are a temple within yourself, man. So the Feast of Dedication is about dedicating the temple after we slew the heathen, removed unclean stones and unclean things, and dedicated it and made it stronger than it was before. So that same spirit has to be applied in our life. The Feast of Dedication is not just a feast of drinking wine or eating lamb or lighting your menorah, or it's a very heavy feast day, man, that draws nigh. And you want to make sure your temple is being clean. Don't wait till the feast of dedication to clean your temple. Clean your temple before the feast of dedication. We are the temple of the Most High. Right, let's go to Ephesians chapter 2. Right, Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 18. For through him, and we'll go into how to clean your temple, right? For through him, we both have access by one Spirit unto the Father. Now, therefore, ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of the Most High. So he's speaking to the church in Ephesus, right, which is in Asia Minor, modern day Turkey. And as they were being converted into the knowledge of Hamashiach Yahushua through faith, and as they came into this truth, they are no longer strangers. They're no longer counted as the uncircumcision. They're no longer counted as outsiders. They're no longer counted as foreigners, man. But they have been adopted into the fold, just like the saints or the Jews, right? And they are of the household of the Most High. Verse 20. And are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Yahushua Hamashiach himself being the chief cornerstone. So literally, the cornerstone is the first stone. Every architect, every foreman out there, right? Every construction worker, right? They understand that that first stone that is laid out is the cornerstone. And the position of that stone is how you position the other stones. So your cornerstone is the first stone. Yahushua is the cornerstone. Because he is the first and the last, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning of the creation of the Most High, pursuant to Revelation chapter 3 and 14. And as that cornerstone is laid, you had other men that came after Yahushua. You had Peter, John, James, Andrew, Philip, Nathaniel, Thomas, etc. Huh? You had the apostles, and then you had the prophets, right? You got Daniel, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Isaiah, Haggai, Hosea, Amos, Obadiah, Elijah, right? Then you have other men. So this is how the temple is being built, right? Stone by stone, brick by brick. And we're all stones that are laid on the foundation as the city. That's why when you go to Revelation, the 21st chapter, it speaks about the foundation of the city are the 12 apostles of the Lamb. Right? This is Revelation chapter 21 and 14. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations. And in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. It doesn't mean there's a big stone and it's etched. Okay, that says Peter. We're gonna move that big stone right here, and that's going to be the first stone where we build. You can take another stone, chisel John in there. Okay, take John, we're going to move John. He's going to connect right with Peter. Take another stone, chisel James. Take James. No, man. It's parabolic, right? We're likened unto walls. We're likened unto, Yahushua is likened unto a door. We're likened unto stones. We're likened unto bricks. We're likened unto gates. We are this city. We are a city. We are a temple. And the Most High is building up the city or building up the temple. He's building up Jerusalem all over again. Right? Real quick, quick precept for when it says in the wall of the city. Right? Let's go to Song of Solomon. Then we'll go back to Ephesians. Right? Let's go to Song of Solomon, chapter 8. Song of Solomon, chapter 8 and verse 8. We have a little sister. She hath no breast. What shall we do for our sister and the day when she shall be spoken for? Yeah, our little sister is just hip talk for our people not in the truth, the Gentiles. Right? We're the big sister. We're in the truth. See, this Bible is parabolic. It's metaphoric. It's not for the average Joe who just picked it up from Barnes and Noble. Right? We're likened unto the big sister. And then the ancient world, just like now, you had women that helped other women prepare for their wedding. They call them bridesmaids today, right? And then they would make sure their dress was fine. They would make sure they knew how to walk down the aisle, and makeup was settled, and they knew that their shoes fit right, their jewelry looked good, and everything worked out well. and that was the job of the older sister. You know, so we are the older sister. It's our job to build up the younger sister. Those are people who are smoking weed and Christianity, into Islam, other doctrines, philosophies, and they have no breasts. Right? What does it mean they don't have any breasts? They're not mature in the truth. They haven't been born again. They're babes. Okay? What shall we do for our sister? That's why, see, there's a lot of precepts I'm thinking of. I don't want to, when it says she hath no breast, see, wisdom is likened to a woman with a Most High say, let her breast satisfy thee at all times. In Proverbs, the 5th chapter. And be thou ravished always with her love. Because wisdom has breast. Right? You got brothers saying, hold on now, what is this about? I thought this was the Monday Night Fire. It is the Monday Night Fire, man. Right? It's hard, it's parabolic, man. So the Most High is talking about breasts, man. Right? Oh, I thought this was the, what are you guys getting into? Shalom, King. What do you mean? What are we getting? We're going into the breakdown, man. Right? So let's read it again. We have a little sister. She hath no breast. What shall we do for our sister? And in the day when she shall be spoken for, meaning the day of Yahushua, the day of the wedding. If she be a wall, we will build upon her a palace of silver. And if she be a door, we will enclose her with boards of cedar. So we're likened unto walls. You could turn somebody from a wall, and that's the foundation, and build upon her a palace of silver. So somebody might just be a wall in the truth. They might just know that they're an Israelite and they're from the tribe of Judah. But then you build upon them, and you teach them what? Laws, repentance, commandments, who their enemy is, who the Lord is, what's his name, what is his son's name if thou canst tell, and you build upon her a palace of silver. Well, even if she's a door, you will enclose her with boards of silver, cedar. You seal her with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Verse 10, I am a wall, and my breasts like towers. Then was I in his eyes as one that found favor. So you want to be a wall, and you want to have breasts like towers. This is talking about the elect. We're going to find favor if we're that part of that number in the day of judgment. Huh? The Most High wants us to have breasts like towers, meaning he wants us to be at the fullness of the stature of Hamashiach Yahushua, right? Meaning mature in the truth. The measure of wisdom and understanding has to abound in us, man. Like a woman that's mature, because we're likened to his bride, right? The bride was arrayed in fine linen, clean and white. For fine linen, it's the righteousness of saints. So we're likened unto walls, doors. That's why in Revelation chapter 21, it says, and the wall of the city had 12 foundations, because our foundation starts with the apostles. Those are the 12 apostles. And they're going to sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So we're a temple, we're a city, we're a building, we're streets, we're walls, we're all of this, man. Right? But you got it, King.
Con, that's right. Right. I'm gonna get this John chapter 10 and verse number 1. It says, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. So you have to enter into by the door, and that door is Yahushua. Where if you're not entering in by that door, you're climbing up some other way, you're breaking into a chimney, right? You're peeking into a window. You're going into some other way, another philosophy that's not pure, and that's not going to lead you directly to the Most High and everlasting life. That's what a lot of people do, right? And man, like the brother's going into, is parabolic. You understand, for a wall, parabolic for streets, parabolic for a house, right? You have the house of, and then you would say the brother's name, right? Because that brother is likened unto a house, right? Even in the law, right? Let me get this in the book of Leviticus, right? This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 14, and verse number 34. Right, and it reads, it says, when you be come into the land of Canaan, which I will give to you for a possession, and I put a plague of leprosy in a house of the land of your possession. Now, this is a physical account, but you also have spiritual leprosy, a spiritual plague that will enter into your house.
Right.
Because your house is who you are. You have the house of Isaiah, the house of Amos, the house of whatever the case may be, right? These are men and these are their lineage under them. Now, if it's a plague of leprosy in the house, it says, and he that owneth the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, it seemeth to me as if there were a plague in the house. Now, if you got a marriage or a household, or whatever the case may be, and it's in an uproar, it's out of order, maybe demons or whatever the case may be, up in your house, you will go tell the priest. The priest is Yahushua. You will go lay it on the Most High, Ba'ashem Yahushua, to get these demons and this leprosy without you. So even in the law is twofold, right? You have the carnal aspect of it, but you also have the spiritual side of it. Everything is twofold when you read the scriptures. That's Job chapter 11 and verse 6. It says, it seemed to me as there were a plague in the house, and the priest shall command that they empty the house before the priests go into it and see the plague. You got to lay everything out on the table. You can't hide something. A lot of brothers, they may get counsel or receive instruction or advice, but they're not laying it all on the line. Right? You can't have any gray areas or any boarded up things in your household. It says that there the house be not made unclean, and afterward the priest shall go in to see the house, and he shall look on the plague, and if behold, if the plague be in the walls of the house, with the hollow straits, greenish or reddish, within sight are lower than the wall, then the priest shall go out of the house to the door of the house, and shall shut up the house 7 days. And the priest shall come again the 7th day, and shall look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the walls of the house, then the priest shall command that they take away the stones in which the plague is, and they shall cast them into an unclean place without the city. And you may have a part of your body which is built up of stones, you understand, sitting on a chief foundation, which is Yahushua, the chief cornerstone, that may be defiled. You may have a rage demon. You may have a lust demon. Whatever spirit that's causing leprosy and witchcraft and sorcery in your house, you will have to remove that by the hand of the priest. So that's just another precept in the law, which is twofold, going into us being a house, having on your walls, greenish, reddish stripes. Those are spirits and demons and things that corrupt what is supposed to be, righteous. You got it.
I mean, that's the law is very spiritual, man. That's why the Apostle Paul said, we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. And this is a beautiful time for brothers to examine their house, man. Right? Examine your house, man. Right? And your house, your house is manifold. The Lord says, set your house in order. Right? They're speaking about you, right? Your family. Some brothers, actual house. Some brothers' actual house or wherever it's just a damn mess, man. Even on a literal level, man. Your Bible at, there's one shoe over there, one shoe over there. You can't find your apocrypha. Your car keys, damn, under the mattress, right? You don't know where this is, and the damn kitchen is filthy, and this is over there, and your whole house is a damn mess, even on just the simplest, basic level, right? But then you tell the brother, you need to pray, you need to fast, brother. You need to get you need to get your actual house clean, man. You need to get your spiritual house clean. You need to get yourself clean. So this is the time of cleansing the temple, man. Right? Cleansing the temple. A quick precept. Matthew chapter 12 and verse 43. Nehemiah, quick account. Nehemiah cast stuff out of the chambers of the Lord, man. He threw it out. Right? Matthew 12 and 43. When an unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none. Right? So he's walking through to try to find a place to live. These demons, that's what they're here for. They're here to find a place to dwell in. Then he said, I will return into my house from whence I came out. And when he is come, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished. You see that? So these demons, they'll leave, and then they'll come back to you, man. Just because they leave don't mean they're going to come back. He says, I will return into my house. You are the house. But your house is supposed to be full and dedicated. right? You don't have an empty tabernacle. You had the table of showbread with the showbread. You had the menorah or the candlestick, right? You had the inner veil or the holiest of holies, right? You had the Ark of the Covenant, the mercy seat. You didn't have an empty tabernacle. You're not supposed to be empty, swept, and garnished, man. Just looking. That's how these junkies and these adult things be going into these abandoned houses, man. Right? It's an easy way to just break in. Because ain't nothing there. There's no defense. Nobody's there to defend the house, to save the house. So these demons, they'll come back and they'll leave you. But if you don't dedicate your spirit in righteousness and fill you with that fire and that lamp, a lot of thieves don't break into a house of these junkies because there's lights on. They may not even know if anybody's home, but if there's a light on, they're not going into that house, man. You know, we see it in Baltimore, Detroit, all these abandoned houses. They all dark and there's creeps in there, man. Junkies and drug dealers. Based off of the strength alone of darkness. When they see that light on, hey, look, even if it's a light in the back, hey, somebody in, I ain't going in there. So that's how these demons operate, huh? Right? Your house has to be lit. Then goeth he and taketh with him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be also unto this wicked generation. So if you got a dark, empty house, that demon is going to get 7 other demons. So now you got an infinite amount of demons, because 7 is perfection, 8 is infinity. Now all those demons in your house, man. You may have repented from a weed smoking demon. Now that weed smoking demon, he got a crack demon on him. Now the crack demon bought a damn prostitute demon. Then a prostitute demon bought a sodomite demon. And a sodomite demon bought an idolatry demon. And the idolatry demon bought a thief demon. And they're all in your house. And it's over for you from there, man. Right? So brothers, you gotta examine your house, man. You got it, King.
Khan, that's right. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 39 and verse 2. It says, and Hezekiah was glad of them and shewed them the house of his precious things. So Hezekiah should have never showed these demons, right? These nations, your house. Because what are the nations are going to do? Right? They're going to covet things. They're going to look. They may make a damn wall or something to break into it later. They may mark something. They may see what's over there just to steal and rob you. You show too much of yourself to these spirits and these demons, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to take out all of the gold and the silver in your house. And what is that? That's wisdom. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Let me get a quick precept real quick. Right? Proverbs chapter 8. Because wisdom is likened, you understand. Let's get it. It's the book of Proverbs chapter 8. And I'm going to start at verse. This whole thing is fire. I'm going to start at 2, right? It says, she standeth in the top of the places by the way of the palaces of the paths. She crieth at the gates of the entry of the city, at the coming in of the doors. Unto you, O men, I call, my voice is to the sons of men. O ye simple, understand wisdom, and ye fools, be ye of understanding of heart. Hear, for I will speak of excellent things, and open up my lips shall be right things. For my mouth shall speak truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips. So when you jump down to verse 10, it says, receive my instruction, and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all things that may be desired are not to be compared unto it. So wisdom is likened above rubies, jewels, diamonds, gold, silver, all precious things, right? So, and when Hezekiah show, these nations his house, you don't want to open up your house and show everybody everything, right? That's on every level. That's these spirits, right? What you fall from, and I'm always falling from lust. Now the demon knows that. He done crept in your house. He done seen what he can attack you with, right? And that's telling a brother everything, man. You told a brother your safe number. You told a brother where you hide your key at, right? You done told a brother what time you go to work, and how your wife is all alone, and sometimes she gets scared, right? And then he want to come and check on her, right? You may overthrow you. You're showing your brother, you're showing somebody too much. It says, "It is precious things of silver and gold and spices and precious ointments in all the house of armor," right? And armor is your protection. So all of these are spiritual things when you kind of go into an ointment is to bind up wounds. It says, "And all that was found in his treasures, there was nothing in the house, knowing all dominion that Hezekiah shewed them not." Right? Jumping down to verse number 7. Right? I'm going to start at 6. It says, "Behold, the days come that all that is in thine house, and that which thy fathers have laid up in store unto this day." That could be wisdom, knowledge, understanding, right? Direction, right? Didn't Tobit give Tobias all of the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding when you read Tobit, the 4th chapter? What to do when he died, how to move on his journeys, right? What they would call a game, right? Your father would sit you down and he'll give you all of the wisdom that his forefathers have given him. It says, let me read that again. "That shall take thee away, and they shall be," right, "eunuchs in the place of the king of Babylon." Right? So the Lord said everything's going to be taken away. Right? All your jewels, your silver, your gold, right? Everything that you once had is going to be taken away from you. So, I mean, a key thing about having a house is knowing how to lock the door, knowing how to close up the breaches. Right? You want to keep it clean, but you also want to protect it. Because if any demon and anything could break down your window at any given second and overthrow you, then that just goes to show you how strong your house is. Right? You got it, Kim.
Khan, that's why Yahweh said your house has to be built on a rock. In Matthew the 7th chapter, right? When you go to Matthew chapter 7, really 21, 24, right? Matthew chapter 7 and 24, it reads, Therefore, and again, we said it again, the Feast of Dedication is December 6th at sundown. December 6th at sundown. That's Wednesday night at sundown. That is the first day of the Feast of Dedication. That day is a Sabbath day. No buying, no selling. You understand? No servile work on that day. All right. So keep the Feast of Dedication. And we have to go into these topics because we have to go into the spiritual aspect of the Feast of Dedication. Right? I mean, it's a very deep feast day, man. From the concept of the menorah and the 7 spirits of the Most High and the light and Yahweh Shai and the history of the Maccabees. But this is a preliminary breakdown, for lack of a better term, so brothers and sisters can examine themselves, man. Right? And make sure that your spirit is clean and your spirit in your house dwelleth in righteousness, man. Right? Because our forefathers, man, they went through great sacrifice to dedicate the temple. They slew many enemies, man, to cleanse the house of the Lord. And you may have to do these things on a spiritual level, man. You may have to slay lust, slay deceit, slay pride, right? You have to destroy your enemies, man, on a spiritual level, right? And then you can dedicate your temple. Matthew 7 and 24. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock. The rock is Yahweh Shai. When you read Isaiah 8 and 13, Psalms 118, 22, Matthew 21, 44 and down, right? Isaiah, the 26th chapter, Yahweh Shai is the rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, but it was founded upon the rock. So the rain is going to come in the floods and the winds, and that represents tribulation, hell, suffering. It's going to beat upon you, man. It's inevitable, right? It's not as if it's not going to come. The Lord said it will come, but it's not going to fall before it was founded upon the rock. So as long as you're rooted in His truth, you're rooted in Yahweh Shai, your faith is built up, you can withstand anything Satan throws at you. And that's if you hear the words of Yahweh Shai and do them. Right? Verse 26. And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And a lot of people build their house on the sand, on Islam, Christianity, false doctrine, madness, pride, preeminence, lust, foolishness. That's you building yourself up on sand, unstable ground. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. Why was great the fall of it? Because you were built up, man, as a house, man, as a man of the Lord. You may have known your nationality, known your heritage, probably went to camp a few times, ordered your Bible, your Apocrypha, probably, taught, watched some videos. You probably told your family you're an Israelite, man, but you wasn't rooted in this truth. You were only in this thing for vain, wild reasons, man. You weren't reading, you didn't study, you didn't pray, you didn't fast. So when them demons came, your faith fell, man. And you fell because great was the fall of it. You can't dedicate a house that has fallen. And once this house fall, it takes a lot for it to get built up. And you can only get it built back up if the Most High wants you to get built back up, man. Because the Most High said they shall build, but I will throw down. You can try to build yourself up all day. If the Most High want to throw you down, he could throw you down, man. He's doing it right now to Esau. All right, you got it, King.
That's right. Right, I'm going to go to Matthew chapter 9 and verse 9. Right, this is the book of Matthew, right, chapter 9 verse 9. And as Yahweh passed forth from thence, he saw a man named Matthew sitting at the receipt of custom. And he said unto him, follow me. And he arose and followed him. And it came to pass, as Yahweh sat at meat in the house, behold, many publicans and sinners came and sat down with him and his disciples. So when Yahweh was supping in the house, he had the publicans and the sinners, right? It says, and when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto his disciples, why eateth your master with publicans and sinners? So what are you doing eating with publicans and sinners? So Yahweh is going to go, this is spiritual. Yahweh is looking to call the sinners. He's not calling the righteous to repentance. So for all you brothers and sisters that got all of these spirits that are seemingly not leaving you, you don't know what to do, Yahweh is going to come in and sup with you. He's going to come into your house, right? He's going to eat with you. He's going to feed you the things that you need, and he's going to cure you, right? He's not sitting down at the righteous table and just that's it. I mean, who else needs it but the brothers that are sick, right? They don't know what's going on. They're dealing with philosophies. A lot of brothers have 1,000 spirits and they don't even know they have these spirits. It's a delusion not to even think you have a problem. A lot of brothers don't think they have a problem. I'm fine. I'm straight. I'm good. Right? You should always have a zeal for more, zeal to change, a zeal to grow. Or like the brother mentioned earlier, growing to that full stature of Yahweh. Because we all have more growing to do, more building to do. Right? We're master builders through the Spirit. That's what the Apostle Paul said. And there's always something on your house that needs work. Right? Even on a physical house. The walls, right? The concrete, the foundation, the screws, the wood. It's always something that may be a little off that need help. Right? If it ain't your HVAC system, it's the leak in the ceiling. If it ain't the leak in the ceiling, then guess what? You got a crack somewhere in your wall and it's getting cold and something's coming in. If it's not that, it's a roach or mice infestation. If it's not that, then maybe, it's something else. But nevertheless, it's always something to be built on and worked on. It says, reading on, it says, but when Yahweh heard that, he said unto them, they that be whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. But go ye and learn what that meaneth, I will have mercy and not sacrifice. For I am not come to call the righteous, but the sinners to repentance. That just goes to show you the Lord will come into your house and sup with you. We know that supping is the spirit, right? It's the milk, the bread, the honey, the meat, all the things you need to sustain you in your lower state for the Most High to build you up through a Say Yahweh. But you got it.
God. And our forefathers was the same way. Let's go to for the First Kings, I believe, chapter. Actually, I want First Kings 15. Actually, let's get second. Let's get a different. Let's go to 2 Kings 22. to 2 Kings chapter 22 and verse 5. I'm gonna start at 3. And it came to pass in the 18th year of King Josiah that he sent Shaphan, the son of Azaliah, the son of Meshullam, the scribe, to the house of Yahweh, saying, Go up to Hilkiah the high priest, that he may sum the silver which is brought into the house of Yahweh, which the keepers of the door have gathered of the people. So he said, go add up the money, right? The people were giving alms, they were donating silver. Let's see how much we got. What can we do with the money and all of the alms that was given unto us? That's what the king said. Verse 5, and let them deliver it into the hands of the doers of the work that have the oversight of the house of the Lord. And let them give it to the doers of the work, which is in the house of the Lord, to repair the breaches of the house. What is a breach? Let's pull up the definition of breach. Right? It says, give it to the men that are going to repair the breaches. So a breach is a gap in a wall, barrier, or defense, especially one made by an attacking army. Synonyms include gap, fracture, split, crack, opening, rift, breakthrough, burst through, right? There are breaches in the house, man. If you got a breach in your house, you're going to have somebody sneaking in there, man. And if somebody's a demon, right? The somebody's a demon. So you have to see what is open in you that's allowing that demon to come in. Is your breach you not reading? Is your breach you don't fast? Is your breach you don't congregate? Is your breach you don't study? Is your breach you got a damn secret demon on you? What is your breach? Right? So our forefathers had to repair the breaches, because once you breach that up, it's over, man. A lot of people actually get they be having mice in their house because it's a damn hole under the sink that they never looked at, or it's a hole behind the oven, or it's something in your damn attic. If you don't examine it, the extent of your house, you will never know where the breach is at, man. Some people never go in their attic unless they getting something, man. You getting that big dusty box. Nobody's reaching their hand all the way behind the oven or the sink. I'm not doing that. I ain't worried about that. That's slowly but surely they gnawing the way at the wall, right? They clawing the way, and they gonna breach through. So you gotta really look at your house, man. Because meanwhile, while you spending all your time having fun in the kitchen, the living room, in front of the flat screen, that rat, he gnawing, he clawing. That roach, they trying to break through. Hey, these things that break through, man. How the hell, what is that? Is that a mouse hole? Is that a rat hole? Well, brother, you was having too much time freaking off in the living room, man. You need to go in the attic and examine the attic. You need to go in the basement, man, and seal up the gaps. Spiritually, man. And dive deep in your spirit and see where the breaches are. Right? It reads, unto the carpenters and builders and masons, and to buy timber and hewn stone to repair the house. Howbeit there was no reckoning made with them of the money that was delivered into their hand, because they dealt faithfully. So it's like they didn't have to check on them and say, well, what are you doing with the money? They were faithful men that could repair the house, man. These are things our forefathers did. Let me get one more real quick. Right? Let's go to Nehemiah 13 real quick. This is Nehemiah chapter 13 and verse 7. And I came to Jerusalem and understood of the evil that Eliashib did for Tobiah, and preparing him a chamber in the courts of the house of the Most High. And that's wicked, man. Why would you take a wicked man and give him a chamber in the house of the Most High? It's like you just let that. It could be a woman, man. It could be a brother, right? You know they damn do God knows what in the dark, man. And you just let them all in your house. You prepared him a chamber. right? And it grieved me sore. Therefore, I cast forth all the household stuff of Tobiah out of the chamber. When you cast something forth, you don't, okay, let me take this, I'm gonna set it down here, right? Oh, that's fragile. It has glass in it. No, Nehemiah was hot, man. Just casting everything that was wicked out of the house of the Lord. That's called zeal. Some brothers, they take their time. You know, you got that demon, you just take your time. You take a little lust demon, I'm gonna take my time next week and I'll get it and I'll move it here. Then I move. No, you gotta cast it forth, man. Right? You gotta cast all these demons forth. Then I commanded, and they cleansed the chambers. And thither brought I again the vessels of the house of God with the meat offering and the frankincense. So, what spirit are you in when it comes to cleansing the temple? Are you casting them forth in zeal, or are you just taking your little sweet time and moving things around like a creep? Right? You got it, King.
Calm, right? Let me get this. That's the same spirit Yahweh was in when all of those wicked men was buying and selling and perverting God's temple. Right? He didn't take his time with it. Right? This is the book of John, right? Chapter 2. And I'm going to start at 13. And the Lord didn't take his time. He didn't say, well, these men, I'm going to give them a right to repent. Let me give these men a couple of seconds to get their mind together. No, when wickedness is around, sometimes you got to immediately make a judgment and do what you got to do immediately. You're not going to see a brother putting a joint to his lip and think to yourself, well, Most High may show him mercy. You know what, this brother, I'll give him a look. And, it depends on how many puffs is in, then I'm going to react. Sometimes you just got to immediately do things that you have to do, man. Nehemiah was kicking people out, right? Yahweh was whooping people, right? Beating people, right? Making scourges with whips and beating people out the temple. And you got to remove that wickedness out of the house of God, man, immediately. You can't take time, right? When you read the book of Numbers, right? I'm going to get that too, most high willing, but I'm going to get this real fast. It's the book of John, chapter 2, verse 13. The Jews' Passover was at hand, and Yahweh went up to Jerusalem and found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves and the changers of money sitting. Now, on a physical level, these are physical men. But you have to really look that Yahweh, he can see your spirit. He can read your mind. He can read your thoughts. He saw the wickedness and the demons on these men. And you got to be spiritual too. The Lord said, he that is spiritual, judgeth all things. You have to judge by a mind of the Lord that brother has a demon on. That sister has a demon on her. My house or this situation is not of the Most High. I have to get rid of it. I have to drive up those cords and beat it out, man, just like the Lord did. Right? It says, and when he had made a scourge of small cords, he drove them all out of the temple. You got to drive out these demons out your house, man. If you're real timid with these demons and you're real, you're prancing around and, I mean, these demons know the spirit you're moving in. It said, Paul, I know, Yahweh I know, but who are ye? You think a spirit is going to respect a timid, very quiet, docile brother that half believes, has no faith, has no works, to have these spirits to be driven out? These spirits have to respect the spirit that you're in. They have to respect and say, you know what? This man fasts. This man prays. I know his spirit that's connected with the Lord. Because on a deeper level, all of the spirits know each other in the third heaven. There isn't an angel. I never knew that this spirit existed. No, they're all the heavenly host of the Lord. So they would know the spirits that were in the palm of the Most High's hands that are already, predestined. It says, sheep and oxen, and poured out changes of money and overthrew the tables. And it said unto them that sold doves, take these things hence. Make not my father's house a house of merchandise. Meaning grab up all of these things and get it out the temple, man. Stop playing with me. Grab all of this and remove it out. Right, let me get one more. Let's go to Numbers. Right? Chapter 15 and verse number 25. I think that's what I want. Salakia 16 and 45. That's what I want. Number 16 and verse 45. Right? And it reads, It says, "Get ye up from amongst the congregation, that I may consume them as in a moment." And they fell upon their faces. So the Most High was like, "Look, I'm about to destroy the congregation." It says, "And Moses said unto Aaron, Take a censer and put fire therein from off the altar, and put on the incense, and go quickly unto the congregation and make an atonement." Right? You don't have all day to get spirits out of your house. Sometimes you gotta immediately go on that fast, immediately read, immediately call a brother, immediately call a sister. Because if you take your time, that spirit could get stronger. That spirit's going to start growing and grabbing other spirits to attack itself too. And next thing you know, you got spirits in the attic, spirits in the basement, spirits in your room, spirits in the kitchen, and surrounding your house, besieging it. Right? And there's nothing you can do to get out. He said, "Go quickly unto the congregation and make an atonement for them, for there is wrath gone out from the Lord, the plague is begun." And that plague can be anything. You don't know what that plague is in your house till you examine yourself. Because once that plague begun, and if you don't hop on it, what's the plague going to do? It's going to spread. It's going to spread till the whole house is consumed. You got it.
And I mean, that's a good point. And that's why you have to have that spirit of the Maccabees, man. You think Judas Maccabees was playing around with these Edomites on the battlefield? Right? You think he was, chilling when they came, and Nicanor came, and Lysias and Georgius and all of these heathen? Hey, this man was, in all of his acts, he was like a lion. I'll tell you that, man. You ever see a lion go after they prey? They get, when it's go time, it's go time, man. They don't mess around, man. Judas Maccabees, Simon, Jonathan, Mattathias, they didn't hesitate to magnify the name of the Most High, man. They didn't hesitate to kill the enemy, man, and destroy those that hated the Lord. They put their life on the line to magnify Yahweh while Yahweh Shine cleanse the temple, man. Right? Let's go to real quick, 1 Kings. I believe that's what I'm quick precept. Right? That's why it's beautiful for brothers to read actually 2 Kings. Well, hold on. Let me see if this is what I want. 1 Kings 15. And we can start at 10. It's beautiful to read Maccabees, man. Read about your forefathers. Right? Read about your forefathers. 1 Kings 15, and I'll start at 10. This is Asa. Right? And 41 years reigned he in Jerusalem. Right? So that's one of the sons, kings of Judah. Right? You had David, Solomon, Rehoboam, Abijam. Then you had Asa. Right? And in Asa, you had Jehoshaphat, and these are the kings. So he reigned 41 years in Jerusalem. Right? And Asa did that which was right in the eyes of the Lord, as did David his father. And he took away the Sodomites out of the land and removed all the idols that his father had made. So this is the spirit you want to be in, huh? Right? You want to remove anything unclean, idols, wicked spirits, right? And also Ma'akah, his mother. Even her he removed from being queen, because she had made an idol in a grove. And Asa destroyed her idol and burnt it by the brook Kidron. And there's no respect to persons when it's cleansing the temple, huh? Let me find the so-called, not that I would, God forbid, let me find a so-called Christmas tree in my house, man. You think I'm that's my mother. My mother, she bought it. And a lot of people, around this time, you bend over backwards, man, to please your worldly family around these holidays, man. They bringing idols in your house and unclean things. This is a heavy spirit for unclean things in the house, man. Christmas trees, what's that? The stockings, Christmas stockings. You still got Halloween candy in your house, Thanksgiving leftover foods. You got the accursed thing in your house, man. And you don't want to get rid of it because it's somebody else's. Even on a spiritual level, some people don't want to rebuke people, man. I don't want to get on my rib, she on the phone and she talking to this other man, and I don't know who this man is, but I ain't going to say nothing because, that's my rib and I love it. No, man. Right? You got to remove all types of unclean spirits. Even his mother, he shut down, huh? But the high places were not removed, Nevertheless, Asah's heart was perfect with Yahweh all his days. And he brought in the things which his father had dedicated, and the things which himself had dedicated into the house of the Lord, silver and gold and vessels. So you can't dedicate and bring things into your temple until you remove things. You can't build yourself up upon a wicked foundation. There's no point of keeping the Feast of Dedication and lighting the menorah and getting into it if you got a spiritual wicked foundation. Part of the Feast of Dedication is removing, not just building, removing unclean things. That's the first step. Seeing what it has to be removed. Don't care who it is and what it is. If it's your mother and she going off and she telling you celebrate Christmas, look, I'm not doing that. Right? If it's your damn so-called job working the Sabbath, hey, look, no, I'm not working the Sabbath. If you got an inner spirit in you, you fasten that demon away. And then you can bring in the things that are dedicated. Then the Most High is going to allow you to bring in that truth, virtue, integrity, temperance. And that's that silver and that gold, man, in the house of the Lord. So you got to remove, brothers should be thinking about what has to be removed, what has to be cleansed. So that's part of this feast of dedication. You got it, King.
Come on. Look at this precept too in Sirach. Where I want to get Sirach chapter 34 and verse number 23. All right, Sirach chapter 34 and verse 23. It says, when one buildeth and another pulleth down, what profit have they then but labor? So, I mean, you got to really ask yourself, and this precept is deep because you don't want to interline and intermingle yourself with people of this world. You're trying to build up your house, but then your wife's trying to pull it down. Your husband's trying to pull it down. Your children are pulling it down, right? Your co-workers or your brother or your sister, whoever you're adapting yourself with, you got to have people on a like mind and one accord, right? You can't be sitting up here with people in the world. You're trying to build, right, the kingdom of heaven, right? And all the things that the Most High said, but then you got people around you just pulling it down. Well, that's fast tomorrow. You know what? We'll read next week. Here, drink some of this wine. Well, you sitting up there trying to build yourself up in righteousness, but you got people pulling you down. And a lot of times, people that pull you down be them of your own household. Because that's the spirit that Yahweh Shah said that was going to happen. So you got to really ask yourself, are you interminded and interlinking yourself with these people of the world, or are you coming out of the world? Because if you're building, right, and another is pulling down all your work, you're not going to have any profit but labor and sweat. What man is going to sit and try to build up a whole house or palace or temple, but then every single time he puts a stone, you got a demon removing it. You got somebody removing all of your work that you're putting in. It would be wise to cleanse out all your environment, your so-called friends, your wicked family members, your co-workers, right? Separate yourself from all mischief so that you can clearly see and prepare thy work without, like the Lord said, and then build. All right, let me get that too in the book, right, of Proverbs. Because the Lord said to prepare thy work without. And that's spiritual because you can't just start building without knowing what it is and the supplies that you need, right? This Proverbs chapter 24 and 27. It says, prepare thy work without. Meaning when you prepare yourself, what do? You have a blueprint, right? You sit down, you have a scheme. Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get all the supplies ready. The rulers, the hammers, right? All the measuring tape. We're going to get the drills, the axes, right? Anything we need to build, you got to prepare your work without. So you can't say you're going to build up the congregation, your house, or build up, whatever the case may be, your little brother that's just trying to come into this truth. And you have no supplies. You don't know what to build. You don't know what the problem is. If you know there's a breach in your attic, you have to know, okay, how big is the hole? Is it sheetrock? Right? Is it plaster? Is it ivory? Right? What is this? Is it concrete? You have to know the materials that you need and the breach to be able to seal it and make it work. And you have to be a work master. Right? It says, prepare thy work without and make it fit for thyself in the field. And afterward, build thine house. So you have to first do one thing. Examine yourself. What you need. Okay, I need that. Then you execute a plan mentally And then you execute it physically by taking all the supplies, which should be spiritual, the precepts, advice, counsel, and then you start to build, because then it's going to be profitable. You don't just start building out of nowhere, right? You say, you know what? Feast of Tabernacles, so like Feast of Dedications coming in. Let's just build, man. Let's just pray, right? You're just winging it. You have to know exactly what it is that's dying off on you, like you read about in Revelation, 3rd chapter. Examine and build and breach, right? So that house will be well established. You got it.
And you can't let nothing stop you from this project, man. The project is you building yourself up to the kingdom. This is not that project where, like you always say, somebody working on a garage or working on fixing the car. The damn car never get fixed. Some people actually do that. They'll buy the tools. They'll buy everything. I'm going to fix the car. This is my grandfather's car. I'm going to get this thing back up and running. And I'm going to sell it for $75K or X amount of dollars, man. So they take the tools, they'll buy this, and then they just give up, man. This is not that kind of deal, man. Then they throw that big tarp over the car, man. And I was just sitting in the driveway. Then they take the tarp out, then they work on it, by little and by little. They spend less and less time on it. Then they cover it up again, and it just becomes like an eyesore, man. You don't want to start something and not finish it. Yahushua said in Luke 14:28, man, he spoke of that. Right? This man began to build and was not able to finish. Let me get that real quick. Right? Luke 14. Right, it's a lot that go into this Feast of Dedication, man. Right? Our forefathers, man. Read how Solomon built the temple. See how Zerubbabel and Joshua laid the foundation. This is you have to have a mind to work in this truth. And you have to ask yourself, what are you building, man? Right? And can you finish? Luke 14:28. For which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether you have sufficient to finish it? Like Rod was saying, you buy all of these tools, then you came up short. You forgot the scrapey thing. I don't know what it is, the damn thing to do the plaster, bro. You bought everything you needed. You had $40, $100, and you came up short, bro. Now you can't finish. Or you didn't buy enough damn plaster. Or you needed a hand. You needed a worker, man. It was a 2-man job. You thought it was a 1-man job. So you lay everything out, you get it. Then you find out you need somebody it's a 2-man job. Man. Somebody got to hold one side, you do the other side. So now you can't finish. And this truth requires that this is a 2-man job to build a tower. Man. You can't build by yourself. 2 are better than 1. And a 3-fold cord is not quickly broken. And you got to ask yourself, can you finish? Do you have what it takes to finish what you're building? Less happily, after he hath laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it began to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. And we're seeing a lot of brothers beginning to build and they just can't finish. Lord willing, the Most High have mercy on all of us and we all can finish, but everybody's not going to be able to finish. They're going to start building. They're going to get their Bibles. They're going to get their apocryphals. They're going to watch YouTube videos. They're going to join a camp. They're going to see a camp. They're going to order their fringes. They might go on the comment board, email where y'all going to be at. They might get married. You know, they might get on Clubhouse, social media, whatever these apps are they got. You know, they might tell their granny, you're Israelite, your cousin, and time may go by. Some projects, they still building. Man, you drive down the road, they've been building that part of the highway, the overpass, for 3 years. Some stuff, it takes 10 years to build, 5 years to build, to complete the job. And people, they don't know how long it's going to take to build. So they never finish, man. You know? So this thing is about finishing the work of the Most High. I got another quick precept. This another thing, this Exodus, I was dwelling on this Exodus chapter 25 and 1. This is when they were building the tabernacle, right? And the sanctuary of the Most High. It reads, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel that they bring me an offering of every man that giveth it willingly. With this heart ye shall take my offering. And this is the offering which ye shall take of them: gold and silver and brass and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen and goat hair. Now these are valuable things: gold, silver, brass. Purple was hard to make, and scarlet and blue. Fine linen, goat hair, stuff not cheap. But the Most High put out a decree. He said he's only talking to every man that's going to give willingly to build the tabernacle. To build the tabernacle. So what are you offering willingly for the nation, man, to do this work? What talents and gifts are you offering to do the work? Because we got to build the tabernacle too, man. We got to build ourselves up, but we got to build the nation up, man. Are you bringing, every brother has skills or gifts and talents given to you by the Most High. And often throughout the scriptures, when you read Numbers, I believe the 7th chapter, Exodus 25, a lot of our forefathers willingly came with things to dedicate the temple. It was never a one-man job. It's always a nation job. So it's our job to offer willingly to do the work of the Most High. I don't know what to offer. I don't have gold. I don't have silver. What do you have? What gifts and talents do you have, man? That Yahweh Shmi Abishai bless you with in order to build us up as a nation, spiritually, physically, man. Every brother should look and see what the Most High is giving you spiritually. Maybe the Most High gave you counsel. Maybe the Most High gave you this. You've been given something, but you have to offer it willingly to build the tabernacle. That's how the tabernacle was built, off of willful labor, right? But you got it, King.
Khan is right. I want to go to the book of Haggai, right, chapter 2. Now, let me start at 1, chapter 1 and verse 2. Right? Now, during the time of Haggai, they were real slack in working. Right? They had a mentality, I don't know if it's time, should we? Right? They were twiddling their thumbs. They didn't know if it was the right season. And that'd be a lot of brothers in the spirit, man. When are you going to get up and go to camp? You've been knowing the location how long? You've been knowing how to get there for how long? Right. You've been knowing where the brother's at for how long? Or when are you going to hit the email up? When are you going to get on the Q&A after the Monday Night Fire? When are you going to take that step, right, to kick down the door and make whatever it is come to pass, man, through faith in the Lord? When is going to be the right time? Because a lot of brothers say, well, tomorrow. But you don't want to have that mentality to where it's the next day and the next day. Because then when that day comes, it's always going to be the next day. It's never going to be the right time. This is Haggai chapter 1 and verse 2. Thus speak the Lord of hosts, saying, this people say that time is not come, the time that the Lord's house should be built. And that's a wicked mentality. And that's Satan that came to their mind. Because when you read the book, right, and we don't got to necessarily get it, but during the time of the rebuilding, Satan was standing at the hand of Joshua the high priest to resist the work of God. So that was really Satan at the mind, right, of the nation, not to want to do the work. That's why you have to have a mind to work. Most has to stir you up through the hand of the prophets in the spirit. And these men are saying, look, now is not the time to build. Verse 3, then came the word of the Lord by Haggai, the prophet, saying, Salakia, is it time for you, O ye dwell in your ceilings, houses, and this house lie waste? Now consider, Salakia, now therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Meaning consider everything that you're saying. That is now is not the time. Maybe we should dwell here. Maybe we should not dwell there. What's going to happen when these men stirred up the spirit? Jumping down to verse, right, number 12. Then Zerubbabel, the son of Shittiel, right, and Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, with all the remnant of the people, obeyed the voice of the Lord their God and the words of Haggai the prophet, as the Lord their God have sent him, and the people did fear before the Lord. Then spake Haggai, the Lord's messenger, and the Lord's message unto the people, saying, I am with you, saith the Lord. And the Lord stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and the spirit of Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, and the spirit of the remnant of the people. And they came and did work in the house and the Lord's host. So like you, their God. So the Lord stirred up the spirit of all of these men. And once he stirred up their spirit, you think they were average building? They just put this brick right here and they was tired for the day. They did their 10-hour shift. Well, these men were on fire. These men were building everything that needed to be built. And when you read the second chapter, verse 9, Haggai chapter 2 and verse 9, it says that the glory, right? I'm going to read it, of the latter house. Let's just read it. Verse 9, the glory of this latter house shall be greater than the of the former. Meaning whatever was broken down in your life and your household, right, amongst your friendships or your brother, your congregation, whatever's going on in your house, the glory of what you built should be greater than what you came from. If you and a brother had got into an art, or you and a sister got into an art, and y'all builded up that relationship, let's say for 6 months, then y'all got into it, that repair and that breach should be greater as y'all move forward than it was in the past. Because why? The spirit of the Most High should be there. Of forgiveness, love, right, understanding, experience, all of these different things from growing and learning from what you built that fell down to how it not to fall again. Okay, I need extra strength right on this pillar. I need extra strength down at this foundation on the left side. I need extra strength, at this window to push it down so that it can lock and it can seal. These are the things you got to really witness and understand. The glory of this latter house shall be greater than of the former, saith the Lord of hosts. And in this place I will give peace, saith the Lord of hosts. So when you build and all of the things of the Most High come to pass, you shall have peace. So we're building up the kingdom. The Lord said that the kingdom of heaven lieth within us. We read the book of Luke chapter 17, verse 20, all the way down. Right, let's get that real fast. So everything that we're building really lies and rests upon us. It says, and when he was demanded of the Pharisees, when the kingdom of God should come, he answered them and said, the kingdom of God cometh not with observation. I mean, it's not going to fall out the sky like in Christianity. Right, you're going to see a big building and a big streets and all palaces flying out of the third heaven. It's not going to happen. It says, neither shall they say, lo here or lo there. Behold, the kingdom of God is within you. You possess the streets, the palaces. You possess the mentality of rulership. You possess the walls, the gates. The gates are the elders and the strength. You possess the protection. You possess everything that the kingdom of heaven physically is going to manifest already within yourself. So you could be likened unto an elder by the strength of the gates. You could be likened unto a wall. You understand, being strong in the spirit. You could be likened unto the golden streets. All of these different things, the Lord said, look, man, the kingdom, it lies within you. So who do you really have to work on day in and day night? Is it physically the kingdom? You have to physically grab that board and lay it up. Right? No, the heathens are going to do that. But spiritually, to obtain it, you have to be working on yourself day in and day night and your brethren in the nation. You got it.
Yeah, and I want to touch on a point where you said Satan was standing at Joshua's right hand, or it is not the Lord's time. A lot of people don't build because you let these demons get to you, man. Right? And I was thinking of the precept in Nehemiah, the 4th chapter. Right? You're letting slothfulness get to you, huh? Or you're just letting these spirits of doubt make you believe that you can't do what the Most High wants you to do, huh? Right? This is Nehemiah 4 and 1. But it came to pass. That's why a lot of people don't go to camp, huh? Or a lot of people don't do certain things because you have been persuaded in your mind that you just can't do it. A lot of people say, I'm not a teacher. I'm not. Look how that brother does it. A lot of people compare themselves to other people, and it puts limitations on you. You cap yourself out because you're comparing yourself to somebody, or you have these doubts and all of this, instead of putting your hand to the plow and tapping into the talents that the Most High gave you, man. Right? This is Nehemiah 4:1. What if Nehemiah and Ezra and all of the men of Israel listened to these wicked men and they didn't build, man? Oh, well, they're right. We won't be able to do it. It'll never get done, man. You got to fight past these spirits trying to stop you from doing what the Most High wants you to do, man. And every brother on this call should be doing work for the Most High. Or this live, every sister should be doing work for the Most High. The sisters in Exodus 25, Exodus 37, all they was doing all types of stuff, man. Making garments and putting things together and spindling. It says every wise woman who the Lord stirred up. Every woman should be doing righteous work for the Most High. And every man should be doing righteous work for the Most High. Huh? Well, I don't know. I never learned. I don't want to know. You got to fight past that demon. That, well, I don't want to know spirit. What do you mean you don't want to know how to do something, man? You should want to know how to do everything, man, in righteousness. You don't want to just stay in your lane all the time. Yeah, I'm just a sister that only do this. Or I'm just a brother that just do. Brother, we got to do more, man. We at the point now, we all got to do more for the Most High. Right? This Nehemiah 4:1. But it came to pass that when Sanballat heard that we builded the wall, he was wroth and took great indignation and mocked the Jews. He literally did that. And these demons are getting wroth that you're building, right? And they'll come against you hard, man. And he spake before his brethren and the army of Samaria and said, what do these feeble Jews? Will they fortify themselves? Will they sacrifice? Will they make an end in a day? Will they revive the stones out of the heaps of the rubbish which are burned? So they don't want you to fortify yourself. Right now we're building, man. And you got these nations and the Edomites and the Ishmaelites and the Moabites, but there's none but evil spirits in them saying that we're trying to fortify ourselves. What are they trying to build a nation? They're going out in the highways and byways. They're strengthening the walls. They're raising up the gates. They're laying each stone down. Will they sacrifice? And we are doing sacrifices. This offering of the Gentiles, pursuing of Romans chapter 15, Hosea 14:2, Hebrews chapter 13:15, Ecclesiastes chapter 35. Right? We are doing many spiritual sacrifices. 1 Peter chapter 2:4 on down. Will they make an end in a day? Meaning, will we build in one day? Will they revive the stones out of the heaps of the rubbish which are burned? And brothers are reviving stones. To revive means to live again, to resurrect. And every brother that's on this live or that's in this truth, you are a stone that was revived out of the heaps of the rubbish which was burned. Meaning out of the dust. Rubbish is the dust. And you're the stone. Let me get that in 1 Peter real quick. Chapter 2. Right? We are the stone that was revived out of the rubbish and the dust, man. Right? 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 4. To whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of the Most High and precious. So Yahushua is the living stone, and he makes you alive. He's a quickening spirit. Yea, also, as lively stones are built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable by the Most High, to the Most High, by Yahushua HaMashiach. So every brother is a lively stone. What makes you lively? The Holy Spirit. You're living again. You are the stones that were revived. And the heathen, they know that. These spirits, they know that. Verse 3. Now Tobiah, Nehemiah 4:3. Now Tobiah the Ammonite was by him. And he said, even that which they build, if a fox go up, he shall even break down their stone wall. So they having a council to try to break down your stone wall. Right now, there are demons, man, looking to break down your wall. You may not perceive it, but you have to be on that level. Like Yahushua, he said, Peter, behold, Satan hath desired to sift you as wheat, man. But I have prayed for thee, that thy faith fail not, and when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. So Yahushua could perceive the spirits coming at Peter to break down the wall. You have to perceive the spirits coming at you or your brethren, man. The spirits of doubt trying to stop you from doing the work. Depression is going to try to stop you from doing the work. You thinking you're not good enough, or you're not a man of the Lord, or you have limitations and you can't do things. These are spirits, man, trying to break down your wall. Spirits trying to keep you in a box, not be broad, right? All of these spirits try to stop you, man. There are spirits stopping you, right? Let me jump down real quick. This is Nehemiah chapter 4 and verse 6. So built we the wall, and the wall was joined together unto the half thereof, for the people had a mind to work. So they didn't take heed to those spirits, man. It says, so built we the wall. It didn't say, okay, we everybody bow down, let's listen to Tobiah. Let's listen to Sanballat. Let's listen to the people of Samaria. Let's just bow. No, they said, built we the wall. And Yahweh Shai, it says he suffered not the spirits to speak, man. He didn't entertain them spirits, man. He said they didn't even speak around him. That's what Luke 4 and 41 and many other precepts, man. You have to be in that on that level when you're building, man. Don't even let that spirit speak. You got that wicked woman inboxing you, man. Right? You know she married. Shalom. Oh, you're this, that, and the third. Hey, block. Well, what do you mean this, that, and the third? Maybe we shouldn't be talking. Is this right? Brother, you know it's wrong, man. Stop. Let me get that one precept up real quick. Right? Luke, real quick, chapter 4. Right, 41. And the devils also came out of many, crying out and saying, Thou art Hamashiach, the Son of the Most High. And he rebuking them, suffered them not to speak, for they knew that he was Hamashiach. And these spirits know who you are, man, like the brother went into earlier. Now, the point is, are you allowing these demons to speak, call you, inbox you, vex you, try to overthrow you? Or are you rebuking them, man, shutting them down and put your hand to the plow? Stop letting that depression get in. You're going to be sad today. You're not going to do nothing. You're going to be in a room. You're going to be slothful today. Go to sleep. I know you're tired. Yeah, you are right. I am tired. Ooh. No, stop being a creep, man. No, I'm not. Let me get up, man. That's a damn demon trying to stop me from being tired. Let me get my reading in, man. Stop letting these spirits get you, man, and stop you from building. Yahweh Shah suffered them not to speak. That's the level we on, man. Stop letting all of these demons have an inch of power over you, man. Shut them down off rip, man. From the jump, they shouldn't even be coming near you, man. Right, but you got it, King.
Come, right? And if you suffer those spirits, you can't. The Lord said, "Who shall pity a charm?" Right. And if you get too close to that, I mean, that's the spirit. That's the cause and effect if you're not applying the precepts. So you got to be wise too, right? This is the book of First Esdras, where I want to get First Esdras chapter 5 and verse number 70, right? And it reads, "Then Zerubbabel and Joshua, the chief of the families of Israel, said unto them, It is not for us and to you to build together an house unto the Lord our God. We ourselves alone will build unto the Lord of Israel, according to Cyrus, the king of the Persians, have commanded us. But the heathen of the land, lying heavy upon the inhabitants of Judea, and beholding them straight, hindered their building." Right, so like the brother was going into, you got somebody that hinders your building, hinders everything that you're doing. Right? I mean, hinders you apologizing, hinder you getting that grudge away from you, hinder you going harder in the spirit. Right? There are people that's going to hinder your building every day of your life, and that's up to you to be a master builder to prevail over that, man. You don't think on a physical level that the wind doesn't blow when people are actually outside building and architectural work? You don't think that snow and rain and blizzards and different things in terrain is not a factor when people are actually building? That's not going to stop the builder. Those men have a job to do, and they have to complete the thing and the task that's set before them. You know what they do? They have spikes on their boots. They cover up extra strong, right? They have pallets and different gazebos that they're under, or like the brother brought out, if they're painting, they throw out them tarps. It's a lot of things that they will have to use to combat the different terrain that's coming against them. And you got to have that same mentality. Don't let the children of this world be wiser in the generation than the children of the light. Don't be foolish, right? The same way they fight off that weather on a physical level and continuously to do it, the same way you got to do it, man. If you notice that things are not going the way that they should, what are you going to do about it? You got to put on that extra girdle, a double girdle, man. You got to put on that double garment. You got to go harder in the spirit. And going harder in the spirit is going to be hard sometimes because, I mean, you're going to be tired physically. Mentally, you're going to be drained. You're going to be tired, right? You may not know the precept at the moment. There's been probably plenty of times brothers fighting the spirit. And you're like, what is that precept? And then you just give up, man. Right? Have notes. Have certain breakdowns at hand. You know, have a brother or a sister's number ready to call. Right? Don't be so easily overthrown and give up after things that you can't do. It says, but the heathen of the land lying heavy upon the inhabitants of Judah. Meaning there was a lot of them. A lot of them was trying to hinder. And holding them straight hindered their building. And by their secret plots. So men have secret plots. Don't you know that there's councils in the third heaven? Who shall make this man fall? Who shall be a lying spirit? Who shall destroy this household? Who shall destroy this congregation? Who shall split up? You understand this brother over here and this sister over there? But there are councils in the third heaven. A secret plot is what Esau does. Esau comes together in a room and they dictate how many gun shops, liquor stores, and churches they're going to open up in so-called urban areas. But these demons, they do the same thing. When the Lord said in Matthew, the 12th chapter, he bringeth unto him 7 other spirits. What do you think they're talking about? How do you think he got them all? We got something sweet. You know what? The back door is open. This brother, he's easily overcome by lust, vanity, hatred, strife, sedition, variance, whatever the case may be. And now he's bringing these spirits to him. You have secret plots and popular persuasions and commotions. They hindered the finishing of the building all the time that King Cyrus lived. I mean, it could be a set amount of time, whether it be 2 years, 4 years, 8 months, 12 weeks, 5 years, that your building is put on hold by these spirits. Your building could be put on hold by the inhabitants of the land, or whatever the case may be. Don't let this be you, man. Don't stop your building. Don't have that construction. Because like a lot of people, they build, they don't come back to things. Because you don't have that same zeal as you're building in the beginning to come back to it 4 months later. You may not ever get back to it. Make it swept under the rug. You know how many people are building, I guess, a tree house for their child or a rocking chair for their grandfather, whatever the case may be, or they're building up something, but they never come back to it and finish. You know, it's pride when you finish, man. It feels good. Right? It's a great thing when you finish a task that was at hand and you complete it. It says they hindered the finishing of the building all the days, like all the time that King Cyrus lived. So they were hindered from building for the space of 2 years until the reign of Darius. And you don't want to be hindered in your building. Right? Let me get one more. Right? Let's get Exodus chapter 35. Right? In verse 22. Right? We'll start at 21. Right? This is the book of Exodus, chapter 35, and verse 21. It says, they came everyone whose heart stirred him up, and everyone whose spirit made willing. And they brought the Lord's offering unto the work of the tabernacle of the congregation for all his service and for all the holy garments. And this is beautiful because everybody brought different things. And if you have a congregation in the house of God, everybody has to bring something to it spiritually. You know, a brother may bring counsel. Another brother may bring prophecy. Another brother may bring faith. Another brother may bring wisdom. You understand? And etymology. And, you know, he knows how to read maps and navigation, whatever the case may be. We're all bringing a different spirit of righteousness to build up something that needs to happen. And that's prudent and profitable for your house. Right? You may bring the spirit of dominance and leadership and excelling in wisdom in your house as a man. And your woman, she brings the spirit of being a pillar of rest, being quiet, loving, supportive. These are all spirits that help the foundation in the house continue to prosper. It says, and they came both men and women. So women do the work too. Where I believe in when you read the book of Nehemiah, right, either the third chapter, I believe, you had men's daughters that were out there doing the work of God. Huh? It says, as many as were willing hearted and brought bracelets and earrings and tablets and all jewels of gold, and every man that offered offerings, right? Offering of gold unto the Lord, and every man with whom was found blue and purple and scarlet, and fine linen and goat hair and red skin of rams and badger skin, and brought them. Everyone that did offer an offering of silver and of brass brought the Lord's offering, and every man in whom was found shittim wood for any work of the service brought it. And all the women that were wise hearted did spin with their hands. Now look at all of these different talents that they're bringing to the tabernacle. All of these different talents that the Most High has blessed them with. You can't be blessed with knowing how to sing, right? Knowing how to preach, knowing how to be a disciple, whatever the case may be, and hide it. You got to bring all that up to the Lord. Because when all of these spirits and all of these men, women, and children bring all of the offering to the Lord, that's an offering well-pleasing and acceptable unto the Most High. Right? If you by yourself, who's going to exhortate you? Who's going to help you? Who's going to push you? Right? It says, and all the women whose hearts stirred them up in wisdom spun goat hair. Right? Jumping down to verse number 35, the end of the chapter. It says, them have he filled with wisdom of heart to work all manner of work, the engraver of the cunning workman, for the embroider. Right, so now they have embroider machines, but they didn't have all of that plug and the ancient where you stick it into the plug or you cut the button on. No, men were actually in that thing. They were embroidering. So it took a lot of patience, a lot of skill to do the things that the Lord has inquired for all of the ministry and all of the men, women, and children to do. And blue and in purple and scarlet and fine linen, and of the weaver, even of them that do any work, and of those that devise cunning work. So, I mean, when you really want to look at how to help the tabernacle and the nation and the congregation, read Exodus, the 35th chapter. How everybody with a willingly heart brought up to magnify the Most High. You got it.
Yeah, I want to get, that's a beautiful chapter. And when you get this, nobody's off limits too, man. This is the account you was going, paraphrase. This is Nehemiah chapter 3 and verse 11, right? Malchijah, this is an account of who was building, right? Malchijah, the son of Haram. Now, I'm not going to read this whole account, but God forbid that you had men that was there and their names aren't written in the book. These are all of the men that put their name, their names are written in the book, man. In the book of Nehemiah and the scriptures, because they put their hand to the plow. You had guys that was there whose names are not written in the book, man. Right? The Lord said in Malachi, a book of remembrance was written before them that thought upon his name. All of these men we about to read, which we're not going to read all of them, all these men put their hand to the plow, man. Right? This Nehemiah, just jump down, chapter 3 and verse 10. And next unto them repaired Jedaiah, the son of Haramoth, even over against the house. And next unto him repaired Hattush, the son of Hashabaniah, Malchijah, the son of Haram, and Hashub, the son of Pahath Moab, repaired the other piece and the tower of the furnaces. And next unto him repaired Shallum, the son of Halohesh, the ruler of the half of part of Jerusalem, he and his daughters. You see that? So that the brother Shallum and his daughters was putting in work, man. Nobody's exempt. Well, I'm just a 21-year-old woman. I don't know. I'm just figuring this thing out. Well, hey, you come into this truth. Everybody has skills and talents, man. And the Most High is going to give you the spirit. We read that in Exodus 35. The Most High is going to give you the spirit. Now, there's another account. I wonder this. It says the rulers putting out their neck to the work. Let me jump down real quick. Let's see. Nehemiah. I have to get that account, right? But it says the nobles. Here it is, Nehemiah 3 and verse 5. And next unto them, the Tekoites repaired, but their nobles put not their necks to the work of the Lord. And that's written forever, man. It's written forever. On this day. Now, these men probably did righteous works. They were nobles, man. They didn't, they were zealous. They had judgment. You can't be a fool and be a noble. You have to know the law. You have to have discernment, judgment, right? So to be a noble, you got to kind of know what's going on. But the Lord didn't care about all of that. What's documented is that they didn't put their necks to the work of the Lord. Man. And what's going to be written of us? All of the things that you did, and then it's the thing you didn't put your neck to the work of the Lord. Man. Yeah, you read, did a lot of things for you, but did you put your neck for the work to the Lord? Man? Did you go out and risk your life? And the Lord said there are certain men in Revelation 12 that love not their lives unto death. Right? Certain men were beheaded for the word of the Most High, which had not worshipped the beast, nor his image, neither have received his mark in their right hands or in their foreheads. Man. And they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years. Certain men's names are just written in righteousness forever. And then you got guys like this, man. No name guys, whose names aren't even worthy to be mentioned, but all we know is that they didn't put their neck to the work of the Lord. Man. You don't want to be that guy. Man. Don't be the brother that don't put your neck to the work of the Lord. Right? Let's go to the book of quick precept. Let's go to another one in mind. I want to get this in 1 Kings chapter 7, right, with Solomon. And there's another precept. I want to get this other precept. I'll get this one afterwards.
Okay, come.
I'm thinking of.
I'm gonna pull up 1 Esdras chapter 6. Right? It's the book of 1 Esdras chapter 6, and I'm gonna start at verse number 9. Right, and it reads, building an house unto the Lord, great and new, of hewed and costly stones. So these stones wasn't just anything that they threw. Wasn't just a stone they just threw around, and it was a very low stone. It was a costly stone. And you got to really look at the stones that's in the temple, right? They're costly, right? They're not just anybody. Right? The Most High said we're above all people. Stop looking at yourself like you're nobody, like the brother was going to. You're a fool. You're not wise. You'll never be like this brother. You'll never be like this sister. You know what? It takes time. Everything takes time. Right? The Most High is still watering us to this very day. I mean, all hell is not broke loose to the point where the elect is sealed and we're out of here. Meaning the Lord is still watering us as a nation. He's still guiding us, growing us up. You know, elect is still being sealed. Brothers still coming into the truth. Brothers falling out the truth. So, I mean, you being a costly stone, that's your royalty. It says, and the temper already laid upon the walls. It says, and those works are done with great speed. So, I mean, when you work, you don't want to say, you know what, I'm going to work. I'll get my house together next week, or I'll take a week off for the truth. I'll take a year off. It's my 7th year. You know, I'll come to camp next week. No, to get things in order, the Lord said it's done with great speed. That's all throughout the scriptures. Made haste, great speed, delay not. There are a lot of precepts because you don't know your whereabouts the next day. Brother, you could fall out the truth later on tonight. The Most High could blow out your candlestick tonight. Tonight, when you cut off the live, the Lord could blow your candlestick out. In your sleep, you could wake up with a new state of mind and a new mentality. Just like that. It says, and those workers are done with great speed, and the work goeth on prosperly in their hands, and with all glory and diligence it is made. So you can't throw something up. Because a lot of brothers, you know what they do? They spend all year in wickedness, but then as soon as the Passover come around, then that's when you want to fast. That's when you want to go on a 2-day fast. That's when you want to fast. You haven't fast all year, but you want to wait till the Passover. You want to wait till the Feast of Dedications. You want to wait till whatever the case may be to get your spirit together. It says, and with all glory and diligence is it made. Meaning all year you're supposed to be building up something to present unto the Lord. Right? Your fruits all year round should be presented and ready, right? In the first fruits, right? The Pentecost. Things should be ready at that time, in that moment, but are you building all that year to be presented unto the Lord? That's why you got to look at this, right? I'm going to read 10 again. And those workers are done with great speed. Because you have certain contractors, they'll leave a job, man. They'll work half of it and disappear. They took your money. There's certain contractors, they'll throw it up right? Just to take your money. They don't take their time and measure and get things correct the way they should, right? But then you have certain people, they build slow too. They taking 4 years to build something that takes a year to build. Examine what you're building, an examination of how much time that it is for you to get to your peak. You may say, I want to stop smoking, right? But you still smoking a month later. Yeah, I mean, I'm down to at least a joint a day now. No, brother, you got to you got to get that thing together, man. Immediately. It says, and the work goeth on prosperity in their hand. And with all glory and diligence is it made. So you want to make it with diligence, right? You want to be speedy in your work, and you want to do it. You understanding what you're doing it with costly stones, not anything. So as you build up the Lord's tabernacle, you understand bit by bit. You got to make sure you're doing it with diligence. Okay.
Come on, and I'll just get this. This is 1 Kings chapter 7. Now, this is when you read 1 Kings 7, it's the account of Solomon building his house and building the house of the Lord, right? Now, I'm not going to read this whole account, but brothers should read this, man. If you haven't read 1 Kings and how Solomon and all of the labor that was put into building the temple, real quick, let me get this first. 1 Chronicles 21. A lot of brothers may have, is that 1 Chronicles 21, and we'll start at, let's see. Let me select it. That's 28. Select it. Bear with me. That King David actually laid up a lot of treasure to actually do the work for the temple. Right? He wanted to build the house of the Lord, but you remember David couldn't because David, his hands was too bloody. He killed too many people. So the Most High set it up where his son would do it. Right? His son Solomon. Now let me jump down. This is 1 Chronicles chapter 28 and verse 11. I'm gonna start at, this whole thing is good. We'll start at 9. And thou, Solomon, my son, know that. Now this in 1 Chronicles 28, you don't read this account in 1 Kings. That's why you got it. Sometimes when you get to the point when you're reading where you could bounce between Chronicles and Kings, because Chronicles has a lot of information about our kings that are not in the book of Kings. So you'll be reading Kings, and then you could jump into Chronicles and kind of filter in that information and then move back on in Kings. So 1 Chronicles 28 is actually in between 1 Kings, the first chapter, and 1 Kings, the second chapter, right? But it reads, and thou, Solomon, my son, know thou the God of thy father, and serve him with a perfect heart and with a willing mind. For the Lord searcheth all hearts and understandeth all the imagination of the thoughts. If thou seek him, he will be found of thee. But if thou forsake him, he will cast thee off forever. Take heed now, for the Lord hath chosen thee to build an house for the sanctuary. Be strong and do it. Now you can't say, oh, well, that's Solomon. The Lord, that's only him. The Lord chose you, man, to build. We were all given the knowledge and understanding, man, to build. It takes many types of people to build a building, right? Carpenters, masons. You need people that do the wiring and the electrician work. People got to operate a crane. Everybody don't have a crane license. You need people on a forklift. You need people that deal with glass makers. You need all types of people, plumbers. And the Lord chose everybody in this truth, in righteousness. If you tune it in, you were chosen to build, man. The Lord said, be strong and do it. He didn't say be weak and act like you didn't see the live or act like you don't know what to do. And you may not know what to do, man. That's why you have leadership. You have brothers to help. You have seasoned brothers. You have sisters that are older than truth, that know the work. You got the scriptures. You got Proverbs 31. You got the accounts of our kings. You have really no excuse. The Lord said, do it. Be strong and do it. That's how the Most High get down, man. That's what David told his son. Be strong and do it. Then David gave to Solomon, his son, the pattern of the porch and the houses thereof, and of the treasuries thereof, and of the upper chambers thereof, and the inner parlors thereof, and the palace of the mercy seat. And we have the pattern. We have the blueprint. The Lord gave us the blueprint to build the temple. What is the modern day pattern that we have? It's the scriptures, man. It's the accounts of our forefathers. It's the examples that are set. It's Romans chapter 15:4. Whatsoever things were written aforetime were what? They were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So we were given the blueprint by the Most High. And the Lord is telling us, be strong and do it, man. Every brother has the blueprint. You have the laws, the commandments, the statutes, the admonishments, the wicked examples that happened to your fathers like Saul and Korah, Dathan, Abram, Rhodicus, Jason, Menelaus. You have the righteous examples, Hezekiah, Josiah, David, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. You have the pattern of everything, man. Right? Verse 12. And the pattern of all that he had by the Spirit, of the courts of the house of the Lord. So David literally wrote out a massive blueprint on how Solomon's temple is going to be built. David was an architect, man. He wasn't just slaying Goliaths all day. Killed Goliath here, okay, then he killed another Goliath. No, man, David wrote Psalms. He set up David, man, he was what you call a polymath. They would call him a polymath now. They would call David like a genius because he could do many things. He was a warrior. He could write songs. He could make instruments, right? He could write blueprints out, architectural work. He could leap over a wall, you know. What else? He could slay a lion and a bear. He knew how to pray. He wrote psalms out and prayers out. He was a prophet. It was nothing that David really couldn't do, man. And the Lord was with him. Hey, real quick, one of my favorite accounts is when First Samuel, the 16th chapter, when they wanted to seek out a man to play the harp, and a man described David to say he's prudent in matters, he's a comely person, and the Lord is with him. So David was in the spirit. So he had a blueprint all laid out to build the temple, right? It reads, and of all the chambers round about, of the treasuries of the house of the Most High, of the treasuries of the dedicated things. So David had a blueprint of everything that had to be dedicated. The Feast of Dedication starts December 6th at sundown. I don't know what to bring. What was inside the temple? Everything inside the temple was a figure of Yahushua. Solomon had 10 menorahs in there. 5 on this side, 5 on that side. He had 10, right? He had the brazen lavers. He had many of them. He had the Ark of the Covenant. He had the tables of showbread. I believe he had 10 of those as well, if I'm not mistaken. Everything inside the temple he dedicated was really a symbolic representation of our Lord Yahushua. So you have the blueprint and the pattern, and you have to dedicate the house of the Most High, which is the nation yourself, with the word of the Most High, with Yahushua, right? So it's not an actual Ark of the Covenant. It's not an actual menorah. It's not an actual table of showbread or a brazen laver. All of that is spiritual representative of Yahushua. These are the things you're dedicating into the temple. And like the brother went into, the gold and the silver, that's the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And every brother has the blueprint. I don't know where it is. I lost it. Right? No, you have it, man. You have the pattern by the Spirit. So it's no excuse. This is not a secret society. Every brother has the blueprint of the Most High. What are you doing with the blueprint, man? You already know it has to be dedicated. It's all there. It's up to you to dedicate it into your temple and your house and your nation. And the Lord is not optional. Let me read this again. 1 Chronicles 28:10. Take heed now, for the Lord had chosen thee. This is talking about you. To build an house for the sanctuary, be strong and do it. You got it, King.
Come, I'm gonna go to the book of Deuteronomy, right, chapter 27. All right, that's right. Right, it's the mighty book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, and I'm gonna start at verse number 5. Right. And it reads, it says, and there thou shalt build an altar unto the Lord thy God, an altar of stones, and thou shalt not lift up any iron tool upon them. Thou shalt build the altar of the Lord thy God of whole stones. So it has to be whole stones. Can't be chip stones, half a stone, right? Half of this, half of that. It has to be a whole stone. Thou shalt not lift up any iron tool, right? Upon them. Thou shalt build an altar of the Lord thy God of whole stones, and thou shalt offer burnt offerings thereunto unto the Lord thy God. And thou shalt offer peace offerings, and shalt eat thereof, and rejoice before the Lord thy God. Right? You can pull down a little bit more, Ken. Right, verse 8, it says, and thou shalt write upon the stones all the words of this law very plainly. So upon the stones are supposed to be the law. So the law is supposed to be engraven in each and every one of us as we come together as an altar of God. It even tells you in Ezekiel, that 11th chapter, verse 16 all the way down, that we are the altar of God, man, the altar. So as we come together, right, we're offering up spiritual sacrifices. And that sacrifice could be many things. Sacrifice of praise, thanksgiving, a contrite heart. These are all the things we give the Most High, man. And don't negate out of all the sacrifices, or the only sacrifice you want to give the Most High is a contrite heart. It's all you want to give the Lord all the time. Just a contrite, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. You're always sorry. You want to get in the spirit of David, man. David was dancing, singing, rejoicing, right? I mean, don't let these Christians outdo you and praising the Most High. These Christians have damn choirs, Congo players, drum sets, organs, right? They literally come in every Wednesday, every Tuesday for choir rehearsal, right? They turning up and praising something they know of not. More than a lot of brothers that are in this truth that only offer up one sacrifice, which is a contrite heart. That's the biggest side. You see all the smoke on a spiritual level of a contrite heart all day long. But every other sacrifice upon every other altar is what? Is nowhere to be found. Right? Don't let these Christians outdo you, man. Praise the Most High. Dance. Sing. Right? Do all the things you could do to get in the spirit. Because like the brother was bringing out, David, he could dance, sing, rejoice, play the harp. I mean, whatever you do it to the Most High. You think the Most High have all of the Israelites to be able to sing real mighty, to be on BET and VH1, right? And be in their grandfather's basement cutting their mixtapes, man? Right? You think LeBron James is able to do the things he does and dunk and all of the strength and athleticism to coon for the so-called white man? No, everything on a physical and spiritual level is to magnify the name of the Lord. A lot of these brothers that are in sports, right? These are the spirit of a warrior on the earth. To be able to jump over 3 men with the ball in your hand. What do you think they would have did in the ancient world? To be able to do a front flip over the end zone with all of that armor on, right? And those pads and the helmet. What do you think they would have did with a spear? Right? Without all of that things on them, man. Shoulder pads and things. These women that sing, Whitney Houston and all, they singing and ex-husbands and ex-boyfriends. That's meant to magnify the name of the Lord. Your voice is an instrument. All of these things are to magnify the Most High's name. If you're not doing that, what are you doing? There's so much we could praise the Most High in. And it's more than a contrite heart. Don't let the contrite heart just pitiful old you. No, give up another sacrifice. And the point of that matter, I wanted in Deuteronomy 27:8 is, and thou shalt write upon the stones all the words of this law very plainly. So it should be in your heart. You are the stones. You are the altar. So upon the altar, we should be dedicated and have that knowledge, wisdom of the law. If you don't know the law, start reading the law. Things that should always be in your reading vocabulary, right, amongst all the scriptures, is mainly the law, and you got to read about Yahushua. And you got to go into prophecy. Now, Proverbs, Psalms, Esther, Judith, that's mighty. And you can read that. You understand? Those are quick reads through the spirit. But you got to always be in the law. You got to always read about Yahushua, and you got to always be in prophecy. You got it, King.
And that made me think of Revelation, the 3rd chapter, right? It made me think of Revelation chapter 3 and verse 12. right? It reads, him that, oh, I'm going to start at 11. Behold, I come quickly, hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown, right? Don't let nobody take the kingdom away from you. Don't let yourself, a woman, another man, your father, your mother, your uncle, Satan, right? You're supposed to keep the crown with your life, man. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my God and the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my God. And I will write upon him my new name. So if you overcome it, what do you have to overcome? The flesh, Jacob's trouble, day-to-day battles and tribulation, the straight and narrow, the path with fire on one hand and water on the other, right? You have to overcome it all. You're going to be part of the temple, right? The Most High is going to dedicate you, right? Because you help build the temple, you're going to become part of the temple. And not just a little piece of dust in the temple. You're going to be a pillar. A pillar upholds the temple. You can't have a temple without a pillar, right? So a pillar represents one of the elect men in a position of power in the temple. Even the Apostle Paul said he saw James and Cephas and John, who he perceived to be pillars in the church in the book of Galatians. So you can become dedicated if you overcome and you become a pillar. That doesn't mean you're going to be a shapeshifter. Okay, the Most High, I like my arms and my legs. Why would he make me a pillar? It's not literal. Doesn't mean the Most High is going to turn you into a shapeshifter. It just means you're going to be given a position of authority and power in the kingdom, right? In the temple of my God. And he shall go no more out. Meaning you can't fall out the truth. The Spirit, Holy Spirit can't leave you anymore, right? And I will write upon him the name of my God. So that links up with the Deuteronomy 27. Write upon the law very plainly. The Most High is going to write upon you his name. Now, is that literal? The Most High? We take my name, write down the Yah, the Ha, okay, the Wah, the Ha, and he write it right here, right on your forehead. No, man. It just means the name of the Most High, Yahweh Bashmi Abashai, is going to be in you. The image, the truth, his character, what he represents is going to be instilled in you, and you become his possession. All right. And the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem. Like if you look at a building, some of these older buildings, it'll say erected 1930 AD. This was built, it'll be etched in there. Builded by so-and-so family, right? 1910. 8 established and erected 1840. Old churches, old banks, old buildings, you'll see that on one of the stones, bro. And it might even have their names in there. So their name being etched in that stone shows that they have control over that. They own that. Everything that's in that building is a representative of their mind. If it's a bank, if it's a hospital, if it's a church, it's all what they have in their mind. That's how that building is going to flourish according to their mind. So when we have the name of the Most High in us, we're going to come perfectly in the image and the mind of Yahweh Bashmi Shai, which is perfection. That's what Revelation 3 and 12 is saying. It's not saying the Most High got a new name and he's going to write this on. No, that's it's all hip talk, which cometh down out of heaven from my God, and I will write upon him my new name. So every brother that overcomes, you're going to be dedicated into this temple, huh? And the temple is really the kingdom of heaven, the holy city of the Most High, right? We are in the ancient world, you had the temple, right? And then you had the holy place, and then you had the outer court. And the kingdom of heaven, the city of Jerusalem is the temple. That's what it's saying, right? It doesn't mean we're not going to have an actual temple, but parabolically, we are the temple. You understand, as a people. And that's what it's saying. That's why it likens us into walls and to gates, and the city lies 4 square, and the length is as large as the breadth. It's all hip talk about us being that holy place. Let me get one more real quick in Revelation 21. Right? This Revelation chapter 21, I believe that's verse 16 or 15. And he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city and the gates thereof and the wall thereof. Right? The measurement is really the judgment to see the people. Right? It's a pretty much a judgment on who are the people that are in this city. And the city lieth foursquare, the length is as large as the breadth. And he measured the city with the reed, 12,000 furlongs. The length and the breadth and the height of it are equal. That's why a lot of Christians, they think the city is an actual big block. You'll see a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, they'll say, okay, well, the city is a big block coming down from heaven, right? And that's how large the city is going to be. I've heard certain brothers say it's going to be outer space, right? And the city is actually 12,000 furlongs. It's all parabolic. It's not an actual city coming from the sky. It's a big block. Now, it says the length and the breadth and the height of it are equal. And this is the actual city, right? Now, when you go to, quick precept, one more real quick. When you go to 1 Kings, 6th chapter and verse 20, right? It reads, and the oracle in the forepart was 20 cubits in length, 20 cubits in breadth, and 20 cubits in height. So even the oracle, where the holiest of holies was, the length and the height and the breadth of it are equal. This was inside of the temple. This was the holiest of holies place, right? The length and the breadth and the height are equal. And he overlaid it with pure gold and so covered the altar, which was of cedar. So Revelation 21 is saying the same thing. The length and the breadth and the height are equal because we are that new oracle. We are the new holy place. We are that building, that holiest of holies, man. Right? Because we're purified by Yahweh Bashmi Abishai. We're the pillar. We're the temple. Right? So it's not an actual big city with big 12,000 furlongs. You know how long 12,000 furlongs is? Right? It's not, okay, that's equal to, it's all parabolic. Right? But you got it, King.
Khan, that's right. Most definitely is. I mean, you can't take deep prophecy in parables and equate it on a physical level. Right? That wouldn't be wise on so many levels as you read the book of Revelation. Right? And this is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 4, in verse, I'm gonna start at 42, and it reads, it says, so he chose priests of blameless conversation, such as had pleasure in the law, who cleansed the sanctuary and bared out the defiled stones. So oftentimes brothers say, around Passover is sifting season, but you have to understand that same spirit is equated for the Feast of Dedications as well, because the Lord always has certain men, women removed during this time also. We have a brother that's dealing with a secret sin, brother that's dealing with a secret demon that he didn't fast off, he didn't pray off, he didn't examine. And now that demon, if that attaches itself to the body, which is the church, meaning that stone gets attached to that other stone, what is that going to make the whole temple? What is that going to make the whole altar defile? Right? You can't have one spot or one blemish upon your garment when the Most High comes back through the hand of Yahushua. So you can't say, well, I did all of this right, but I didn't stop smoking.
Right.
I did all this right, but I didn't forgive that brother for that grudge. I did all things right. I fasted, I prayed, but I gave no alms since the time I was in this truth. Right? You will have blemishes upon your garment. And the Lord is a perfectionist. He deals with everything in perfection, in measure, in judgment. Right? Everything has to be perfect in the eyes of God. So you got to look and say, well, you know what? During this time, a lot of brothers are going to be removed, whether that be a congregation you in, or whether that be a lot of men by themselves falling out the truth. The Lord is going to do away with a lot of these defiled stones. Now, a spot and a blemish on a stone could be well enough. Chipped, right? Not a whole stone. You're not completely converted unto the Lord, giving yourself to him. Right? You're not coming up to the measure of stature that you need to build. Because each stone, has to fill the specific spot and place upon the tabernacle, upon the altar. Can't have it half a stone. That's going to make the next stone weak. It says this. It says, who cleansed the sanctuary and buried out the defiled stones in an unclean place. The unclean place is back in the world. That's the unclean place. That's the place where it's nothing but a graveyard, or the dead walking up and down, rolling dice, getting drunk, right? Having all type of fornication. That's the unclean place. The Lord's going to take you and put you back to where you came from, that unclean place. It says, and when, as they have consulted what to do with the altar of burnt offerings, which was profane, they thought it best to pull it down, lest it should be a reproach to them, because the heathen have defiled it. So certain stuff you got to break all the way down so you can build it all the way up. Isn't that in the book of Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter? Right. It's a time to build, it's a time to throw down, it's a time to cast away, and it's a time to gather. Right now, the Lord is in the spirit of casting away stones. You have to know what type of spirit the Lord is in upon the earth. But you got the Feast of Tabernacles, Feast of Dedication, the Passover. What spirit is on the earth of judgment that the Lord is going to do? You know, is he going to cast you away? Is it a spirit of mirth, right, of the new moon? What spirit does the Lord have upon the earth? And the spirit, let me get that in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter. So it's sifting season, man. Right? I mean, a lot of things are being discovered, right, and taken away. That's going to defile the other stones. Well, let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, right, chapter 3. So I can throw with me. And I'm going to start at 5. It says, a time to cast away stones. So it's a physical time on earth to cast away stones. Who was the stones? Man. So it's a time for the Lord to say, you know what? I've given you mercy all year. I brought you up. You just made it through the last feast day, barely. But this time you're waxing worse. You're not waxing strong. So now it's time to cast you away. And a time to gather stones together. Right? And a lot of brothers have been gathered up the beginning of this year, right? Ready to this time that we're living in to present yourself before the Lord. Right? You got a lot of Gentiles spread abroad of our people, gathering together, knowing who they are. The Most High is gathering up stones as well. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. And that'll cut somebody, man. I mean, that time is here. So if you're not in the spirit and you're not in the right spirit, the Lord can cast you away. The Lord doesn't owe anybody anything. Stop thinking the Most High owes you something because you know a couple of precepts. You fasted last week and you're in a congregation. That doesn't keep your spot in a temple of God. That doesn't keep you solidified into the kingdom. Because at any given second, if you're not doing what that next stone is doing and keeping up with the congregation of the saints and what the Lord has required of perfection, the Lord can cast you away. But you got it, King.
Come on. And that's what it's about. It's about keeping yourself in the fear of the Most High, man. Every feast day has a spiritual undertone behind it. And that's why we have to go into these lessons to really dive into the mysteries of the Most High, right? Let's go to real quick 1 Chronicles. Actually, Colossians, right, chapter 2. Right? This is Colossians chapter. Actually, I'll get 1 Corinthians. So let's get that 1 Corinthians 2. All right, 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 6. It reads, howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yea, not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world that come to naught. So we don't speak the knowledge of this world. We're not going to do it live and talk about trigonometry, man. Do a whole lot. Okay, well, this is a square. Okay, now look carefully. This is a rectangle. Now, if we turn it this way, it's a pair. No, that's folly, man. We're not going to talk about evolution. This is your Neanderthal. Now listen, this is your Cro-Magnon man. Listen to the depths of his skull. And then, no, we're going to go into the spiritual things, man. And we're speaking wisdom among them that are perfect. Not physically perfect, but you're perfect in the spirit, man. Because we have been perfected by the blood of Yahushua. That's Hebrews 10 and 14 and Hebrews 12 and 23. So if you're amongst the perfect, you're going to understand the wisdom coming out. Right? But if you're of the world, you're not going to get it. Right? That's why it tells you in verse 7, but we speak the wisdom of the Most High in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom, which the Most High ordained before the world unto our glory. So this is a mystery to people. I thought the Feast of Dedication was just the menorah. Just light the menorah and drink your wine. No, it's not just lighting your menorah and drinking your wine. Man. Really, like we're going into, you should be in the spirit of cleansing your house, man. Your actual house. Things should be organized. Things should be in the spirit of righteousness. You should be going into the law. The law should be spoken of in your house. You should be dedicating, like I said, dedicating the menorah in your house spiritually, which is the light of the Most High, the laws and the commandments. The brazen laver, you should be bringing that into your house, man. Slucky, which is you washing and purifying yourself with the water of the Most High. Right? You should be bringing in the brazen altar to do the sacrifices on a spiritual level. You have to do, and that the Lord said, be strong and do it. Look at what was dedicated into the temple by Solomon. You understand? And take that on a spiritual level and bring it into your house. If you're not bringing that into your house, why keep the Feast of Dedication? A lot of people just physically, how to physically decorate. Are you spiritually decorating? Right? What does the word decorate mean? Let me get this real quick. Right? This is straight up definition. Decorate, it reads to make something attractive by adding extra items to it, to beautify, to enrich, to enhance, to furnish, to embellish, to ornament. So you got to add to your spirit, man. It's about adding. That's when you dedicate something, you add precious things to it. What precious things are you adding to your spirit? Right? Verse 8, which none of the princes of this world knew. For had they known it, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. So when you keep the feast days, first and foremost, understand the ordinances of it. You got the ordinances, this is how long it lasts. Okay, the first day's of Sabbath. Okay, the 8th day's of Sabbath. Okay, I can't buy or sell on that day. I can't do no servile work on that day. Okay, this is that. Okay, the historical context. It's in First Maccabees. It's in Second Maccabees. Yahushua kept it. In John 10 and 22, Solomon had a dedication that lasted during the Feast of Tabernacles. Okay, it's this long. It's Second Maccabees here. Then you understand the spiritual aspect of it. That's what we're going into, the spiritual aspect of the menorah, right? And the 7 spirits of the Most High. The spiritual aspect of the stones that we're going into, the spiritual aspect of what dedication means, to remove things. And if you can bring all of that together, you'll have a great understanding on the severity of the Feast of Dedication, man. Right? So we can go, it's on you, King. Go back to this unless you want to get something else.
Khan, I want to get 2 more through the spirit. This Revelation chapter 4 and verse number 5, right? So like we're going into, we got to know the spiritual aspect of these things. Because before they were made manifest on earth, they were already in the third heaven, right? This is the book of Revelation chapter 4 and verse number 5. And out of the throne proceeded lightning and thunders and voices, and there were 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of God. Right, so you want to keep your fire burning. Your fire is your spirit, right? That's the book of Psalms chapter 20. Right, let's get there. Let me get that real fast. Psalms chapter 20 and verse 27. Right, you want to keep your spirit burning. Your spirit's not burning, then it could easily go out. Right, this is the book of Proverbs 20 and verse 27. The spirit of man is the candle of the Lord. So your spirit is really that fire. The Lord could blow out your spirit. Now, it doesn't mean that you're just going to drop dead as soon as you go out the truth. But he could blow out that spirit of prophecy, blow out that spirit of faith, that spirit of zeal, that spirit of knowing you're an Israelite. Right? He could blow out that spirit and that candle that's burning for him in a dark place. The dark place is the world, Babylon, the valley of the shadow of death. And this place is dark. You're not going to see anything that's profitable and light unto it. You're supposed to be the light.
Right.
You're not the Lord say you're the light of the earth. You're the light of the world. And men should literally glorify your Father by seeing you. Wisdom maketh a man face to shine. So you're supposed to be walking around as if you're a flame of fire, as if you're bright. Right? Moses shines so bright, he had to put a veil on through the understanding in the spirit. And that's how you got to be in the spirit. Hey, this brother right here, he's on fire. This brother's always ready to give an answer. This brother's always in the spirit to give counsel, no matter what's going on in his life. For his grandmother died, he could have lost his job. Brother dealing with all type of ailments and diseases and plagues and mentalities are all over the place and storms. But that brother's still dedicating his life and his mind to keep that flame burning. You think that that flame cares? Right? So like you think that wind cares that that flame is flickering, or is it going to keep blowing? Right? Your troubles and the things of this life are going to keep happening. You have to be ignited with a flame. Because once you start to flicker, it even tells you that in the book of Proverbs, right? Chapter 31. Her flame goeth not out by night, paraphrasing greatly. So the Lord even said, I mean, the elect woman, she's not going to have her flame go out by night. Verse 18. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. Night is when you need it the most. Right? The Most High is going to visit you all the day when you got home from work. Right? You had a good day at work and, you know, you just relax. Right? Everything's in order and you just get on the bed. Then the Most High comes to visit you. Number one, all hell breaks loose. And you know what hits the fan? And it's nighttime spiritually and it's dark outside and you're desperate. You need hope. You need light. That's when that candle is going to shine forth the most. So her candle goeth not out by night, meaning her wisdom, her knowledge, her spirit is going to be preserved even in the darkest of nights, the darkest of winter, the coldness of seasons. So that spirit of that menorah, it's the light of Yahushua, which is going to lighten it up. And we have to be in Yahushua's image. We have to map out that same zeal and fire and flame that Yahushua has through the hand of the Most High. You got it.
All right. Let's go back to and get this back to First Maccabees. Right? So this First Maccabees, we left off King 45, right? We're at 45. All right, I'll read 45. This First Maccabees 4 and 45. They thought it best to pull it down, lest this should be a reproach to them, because the heathen had defiled it, wherefore they pulled it down and laid up the stones. This is our forefathers. After they destroyed the heathen that set abominations in the temple. And it's called the abomination of desolation. You read First Maccabees, the first chapter, 50 on down. Antiochus Epiphanes the fourth, right? He set up swine's flesh on the altar, which is an abomination to the Most High, right? And it made the temple desolate and the city desolate. So we have to purify the temple, right? And every brother should be reading Maccabees. If you haven't read Maccabees, you should be in that spirit of Maccabees, all right? And the mountain, it's not a sin if you're reading another book, right? But you should definitely know what's going on in this thing, right? And laid up the stones in the mountain of the temple in a convenient place until there should come a prophet to show what should be done with them. Then they took whole stones according to the law and built the new altar according to the former and made up the sanctuary and the things that were within the temple and hollowed the courts. So they're cleaning up the temple, right? They hollowed the courts. They made also new holy vessels. And into the temple, they brought the candlestick. So you got to bring the candlestick into your temple. Bring the light of Yahushua into your temple. Stop bringing demons into your temple. Pride, vanity, lust, wickedness, lewd madness. Bring the candlestick into your temple. And the altar, burnt offerings. Do the sacrifices, man. And of incense. Like when you read Psalms chapter 141. 1 and 2, it speaks about I will lift up my hands as the evening prayer or incense, paraphrasing greatly. So you got to even do your prayers, right? The prayer for the nation, the prayer for your brethren, your household, you know, yourself, right? And the table, right, which had the showbread on it. And upon the altar, they burnt incense. And the lamps that were upon the candlestick, they lighted that it might give light in the temple. You got to light to keep your fire burning, like the brother was saying. Furthermore, They set the loaves upon the table and spread out the veils and finished all the works which they had begun to make. So it all ends on them finishing all the work that they begun to make. And you got to finish this work, man. The Feast of Dedication is also about finishing the work of the Most High, right? Now, on the 25th day of the 9th month, which is called the month Caslu, in the 148th year, they rose up at times in the morning and offered sacrifice. Now, the 25th day of the 9th month is what? December 6th at sundown, right? December 6th at sundown. That is the 25th day of the 9th month, right? Verse 53, First Maccabees 4:53. And offered sacrifice according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offerings which they had made. Look at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it, even in that it was dedicated with songs and citherns and harps and cymbals. So they was actually turning up in there, man. A cithern is like a small guitar, if I'm not mistaken. If you look up a cithern. All right, let's pull that up. Yeah, cithern is a guitar, man. So they was in there getting down. You had a Jake on a guitar. You had a brother on the harps. The harp is like a modern day piano. Piano's just like a harp turned sideways. And you had the brother on the cymbals, man. That's a band right there. And you had a brother singing. So they was getting down. You got to get down on the feast day, man. Like we always say, it's not a day to think about all of your bills, man, and all of your rent. And wonder if you're going to die or not. Think about whatever, man. You're supposed to be thinking about the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Right? Then all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising the God of heaven who had given them good success. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days and offered burnt offerings with gladness and sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise. See that? So that was another sacrifice, deliverance and praise. And you have to keep this dedication 8 days. It's an 8-day feast day. All right. They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold and with shields, and the gates and the chambers they renewed and hanged doors upon them. Thus was there very great gladness among the people, for that the reproach of the heathen was taken away. Moreover, here's the point: Judas and his brethren, with the whole congregation of Israel, ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days, from the 25th day of the month Caslu, with mirth and gladness. At that time also they builded up the Mount Zion with high walls and strong towers round about, lest the Gentiles should come and tread it down as they had done before. And we were trodden down to the Gentiles, man, until the time of the Gentiles should be fulfilled. Don't let the Gentiles tread you down again. Don't let them tread down a holy city, send you back in the world, destroy your mind again, man. Build yourself up in the spirit and faith, virtue, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Or it says, lest the Gentiles should come and tread it down as they had done before. And they set there a garrison to keep it, and fortified Bethsura to preserve it, that the people might have a defense against Idumea. You see that? Who's Idumea? The Edomites. Who's the Edomites? The so-called white men. And them and their sorcery and their witchcraft and their poison is coming at you. So you got to keep your walls up and your defense up, or Idumea is going to take you down as they had done before. Right? But you got it, King.
Khan, you had something else? Okay, Khan. Right on. Yeah. So like the brother going into, you got to keep those walls up. You got to keep it strong through the spirit. Because if not, you're going to get besieged, overthrown, and destroyed. Right? Now, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 3, and verse number 2. Right? And it reads, be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die. So you have to be watchful. If you're not watching, then you're just going to be overthrown in a matter of seconds. You have to watch. On every level of your life, you have to watch. You have to watch if your food is cooked. You have to watch when you're in a car, right? If you swerving, you gotta watch. Right, your spirit that you in, you gotta watch your brother, your wife. I mean, being vigilant on a physical level is everything. How much more spiritually? There are certain things you can't really see that are coming upon us, right? Every single day, demons creeping in, spirits, right? Temptations, desires, craftiness, secret plots and counsels that we went into the third heaven. Things that overthrow you and, take you back to that unclean place. So the Lord said, be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die, for I have not found thy works perfect before God. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast, and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come unto thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. So if you're not watching, the Lord's going to visit you like a thief in the night and blow your candlestick out. And if it's anybody that's going to visit you like a thief in the night, it's the Lord. Right? If you can't handle these demons at night, and know these demons approaching you at night, how you think you're going to deal with the Lord at night? Because the Lord, he's not going to knock and do things that a demon is going to do. You could visualize a demon approaching. You could perceive that it's a demon on your wife or a demon on your husband. You could perceive the spirit that's not right, and the principality over this region is off. Something's dark. Something's not sitting right in my spirit. But you're not going to see Yahushua pull up on you, man. Because when you least expect it, when you wake up in the morning, right, when you're at the grocery store, when you didn't fast, you didn't read, you didn't go to that feast day, the Lord's going to blow that candlestick out. And you're not going to perceive it or know it, because it's going to have happened like a thief in the night. So continue to have that fear of the Most High and his beloved Son Yahushua. That should be the chief thing you have amongst all things, is the fear of God. It's going to be your root to stay rooted in this thing of wisdom, which everything's going to branch off at. You got it.
Oh, God. Let me get the classic. Revelation chapter 22 and verse 12. And it reads, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. And part of your work, as we went into, is dedicating your temple. You cannot dedicate your temple. You cannot dedicate your house if you do not remove the unclean things first. That's part of doing the work. The Lord is watching how much of the unclean things you're removing. The defiled stones, your sins, these evil spirits that you may entertain, these demons that dwell amongst you, the accursed things and idols that may be in your house, the folly and stumbling blocks that are set up in your heart, man. Right? The pride, all of these things, the Most High is watching you, man. See what you're going to do with it. Are you going to cast it out into the unclean place? You're going to cast it out into darkness? Because the Most High is watching you. If you try to build upon that wicked foundation as if it's never there, man, you're building upon sand. Because once the Most High cut that down, you're going to fall. So you have to examine where are the unclean things. Where are your breaches at, man? The Lord watches, and your part of your work is examining your breaches. He's watching to see if you're looking for the hole in the wall. You're looking for the crack that's going to lead to the bigger crack, that's going to lead to the ceiling collapsing and the roof caving in. You're stopping that small drop, that one leak, right? You're doing what it takes, man. The Lord, all of this is your work. There's a lot of work that has to be done, and the Most High is going to reward every man according as his work shall be, man. So with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, our honor and our glory to Yahweh. By Shema Mashiach Malak Yahushai, I will open up the line for questions like we always do, right at 213-603-9096. If you want to call in, we do the live questions. And the PIN number is 94809-305. So that's 94809-305. That, Brother Naquan.
Shalom, Brother Ryan.
Kwame Yashalom. Shalom.